Where's the lens on that? Down there? So on the last After Files, I got a lot of people asking me to comment on the Terrence Howard appearance on Joe, on Rogan. And I didn't want to comment on it because I didn't watch it. So I wanted to be fair. I did see a couple of clips, which looked pretty good. Sounded like a smart guy. Well, I watched the whole 3 hours or whatever it was. I don't know what to do. Do I do a whole video debunking every single word of that? I don't. That just seems mean. That's why I'm posting this here on Backstage. Yeah, we're in the backyard, and yes, I'm in my pajamas, and while the sun is still out. Look, my wife is away. It's the weekend. I'm getting away with murder. What do I do? Sort of as a I don't want to say rule, but a policy that I have with the channel is I don't do negative videos about people that are alive. It would have been different a couple of years ago when nobody was watching. But if a couple of million people are going to see the video, I don't want to be that guy who's just angry. You know, like I talk about Professor Dave a lot. Maybe this will get back to him. Hey, Dave, I'm a huge fan. But Professor Dave, when he's debunking, he gets so angry. He covered some of Terrence Howard also, which was super fun. I just don't want to be, that's not my style. I want to keep it more positive. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I pull a couple of select clips from his appearance on the next After Files, and we can talk about how Terrence Howard doesn't know anything about science or math at all. And God, I hate even saying that. I hate even saying that. Because he clearly has a very large vocabulary. Like, he knows a lot of words. He's not using them correctly. And, you know, when I see him in interviews, like I just watched him on The View, people are just being polite. No one understands what he's talking about because a lot of it's just nonsense. And look, maybe I'm just not smart enough to get the genius. But I've been in this business, the business of fringe science, pseudoscience, pseudoarchaeology, all of that. I've been in this business a few years now. I've had my mind changed on some subjects. Very suspicious about the moon. It's really weird. But for the most part, everything that I cover on the Y-Files is bunk. It's junk. It's bullshit. So the Terrence Howard interview on Rogan is not worth your time. You're not going to learn anything. You'll be confused, if anything. And if you're a fan of his, my goodness. If you're a fan of his, don't watch it and then go look up and research what he's talking about. It's gonna let you down. Ah, I don't know. I'm just off the cuff here. You know, I just finished watching the episode, and I'm stunned. And Joe did a nice job. I mean, he was respectful. You know, when Joe doesn't understand, he says so. And he challenged a couple of times, but someone like Terrence Howard and many others, well, I don't want to name names and do that. I told you, I don't like to do that. They have the answers prepared. And I don't know if it's a type of narcissism, because there's certainly an intellect involved. That they know what questions and challenges are coming and they're ready for them. So these people aren't stupid. I don't understand. I mean, you've heard me joke about Gaia all the time, that if it's on Gaia, it's bunk. And again, I'm a paid subscriber. I watch all those shows, but there's very few things that are on that channel that are actually real. But I don't attack those folks because they're around, and I know they watch the Y-Files. And I'm not looking to make enemies. I don't want to make enemies out of anybody over there. I don't want to make enemies of Terrence Howard. That's why I've said, look, maybe I'm just not smart enough to see it. But I'm kind of smart enough to see it. All right, so we decided to go. Oh, there's a gecko. For some reason, I need to show you. I can't get over there in time. I think we just decided. I'm not going to do a video on it. Maybe I'll pull some clips for the next After Files, and I can gently, I don't want to say debunk, I can gently rebut some of his claims. You know, the stuff about the periodic table and the elements, it was very difficult, it was very hard to follow. And him connecting the periodic table and the elements with sound frequencies, it's interesting in a way, but it's not exactly how it works. And he was confusing a lot of terminology between acoustic technology and light technology and chemistry, and just sort of interchanging them. But when you spout a bunch of complicated words to regular people, it's going to be confusing. Hey, look, if I was interviewing him on the spot at that moment without doing my research in advance, I would have had the same look on my face as Joe. I would have been like, okay, because I saw it in Joe's mind. You guys saw it. Joe's going, none of this makes any sense to anything that I know to be true. But I don't have enough background, enough education, enough experience to challenge this. So I just gotta kind of listen. I could see it on his face because I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have sat. You need to be prepared for that kind of stuff. If someone says 1 × 1 = 2, that is so crazy. I didn't want to use that word. That is so controversial that you're taken aback that it's almost hard to recover. And when you're talking to someone like that who's rapid fire with the topics and the buzzwords and just sort of this mishmash of science, it's hard to jump in and try to have a logical conversation and kind of tease out the truth. So I understand why Joe was very quiet there, because I also would have been unprepared. But how do you prepare for that? All this being said, when our podcast studio's up, I'm going to call this dude. I'm going to be prepared, but I'm going to call Terrence and ask him to come in. Because it doesn't look like he's afraid of a challenge. And why is he doing so many talk shows now? Is he selling something? When people are selling stuff, it's a good way to get them in. Anyway, I just watched it, so I jumped out here to talk to you. I wonder if I see you don't see when I'm in the studio with all like the lighting and the color correction and everything. You don't see how gray my hair really is. Look how old I am. You didn't know that. You thought I was 28 years old this whole time. All right, we've decided. I'll pull some clips for the After Files. We'll gently challenge some of Terrence's statements. But if you have children that are like age, 5 to 13 that are studying basic math and stuff now, don't let them watch this. Nah. I kind of liked him in Iron Man. I never watched Empire. I don't know really where else I've seen him from, but I kind of dig him as an actor. But this was a bad look. All right. I don't want to ramble. Just want to check in. See you guys in a bit.